And what we are doing here this morning is to obey the national order of PENGASSAN, for our people to withdraw their service. So we asked our members before close of work on Friday not to come here at all. So all PENGASSAN persons are at home. Why we decided to come and stay here is to ensure that anybody who didn't get that mail or somebody who might be desirous of coming to the office will ask the person to obey the directive and go home. And we have been doing that. So that's why you can see vehicles turning. So because this is not picketing, which is supposed to be, if it were to be a direct action from our sides against our company, then on that note, nobody, even a manager, the managing director, will not enter this gate. But because it's a PENGASSAN activity, we will ensure that no PENGASSAN person enters here, but we won't want to infringe on the rights of the senior leadership of the company from going to do their work. So they are going. Women who are pregnant, who have children, are also going into the hospital and out.
Solidarity forever. High pump price. No war. High pump price. No war. Bad road in Nigeria. No war. No road to NPC. No war. Senators and House of Rep people jumping fence. No war. High pump price. No war. No PIB of Nigeria. No war. No PIB. No war. Injury to one. Injury to solidarity forever. Solidarity. Solidarity forever. Singing solidarity forever. Singing solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
That the oil and gas industry, which is the mainstay of this country, is having a lot of challenges. Now, if you remember very well, about this time last year, PENGASSAN wanted to go on strike, based upon which we are called for a meeting by the federal government, which we did on January 7th. Then I was the National Industrial Relations Officer of PENGASSAN. Now I'm still a member of the National Executive Council. And in that meeting, some agreements were reached. It will interest you to know that none of those agreements that were reached have been implemented. For instance, government agreed that they were going to do the turnaround maintenance of the Port Harcourt Refining Company in Q1 of this year. They've not done that. Now, the petrol industry bill, as you are aware, as you are seeing, we've been shouting that the inability of the government, the executive and the legislature to pass the petroleum industry bill by the legislature and for the executive to make it into law has actually stopped investments in the country. As we are, Nigeria is deterring. The oil is being seen around the Gulf of Guinea. New technologies are making hitherto unreachable reserves to be reached. And then, of course, we are seeing the shale oil in the US and the rest and that. So because of that, we are putting pressure on the federal government to pass the petroleum industry bill into law. If you remember very well also, around September this year, I was in Enugu. I went to address a national workshop of NUPENG, and I also raised this issue and also begged PENGASSAN and NUPENG that they should put every necessary pressure to make the federal government pass the PIB into law. So oil theft, pipeline vandalism has led to divestment by oil multinationals. We are losing members every day. So because the government is not doing anything with all these our challenges, that is what informed our National Executive Council to take the decision that we should go on strike. That is just it. Of course, in addition to these are also new issues, which, assuming government has been able to resolve the old issues, it would have been easy to agree with government on the new issues.
So what are the emerging issues?
Of course, the emerging issues are the issues of victimization, issues of anti-labor practices, and all that. But you see, while those are new issues, you also ask yourself, if we sign communicate with government on old issues and government did not implement them, how are we going to be sure that anything will be done about the new issues? So that is what informed this decision. Again, you know that after the festive period, the next thing is elections. If we embark on this strike during the elections, people will say, oh, maybe one party or the other is sponsoring us. And so as a result of that, this is the best time we feel we should embark on the strike. And it is an indefinite strike.
Already there are insinuations that this strike is political. What do you think?
There is no political undertone to this strike. To the best of my knowledge, there is no political undertone to this strike. This strike is purely an industrial relation issue. Now, okay, is it also political that made the federal government sign an agreement with us 7 January of this year and refuse to do it? Is there any political thing around that one also? Is it political that made federal government not to do anything about PIB and to be reforming the oil and gas industry for 14 years while oil price is going down, while oil reserves are being found everywhere, and then we are behaving as if the whole world waits for Nigeria? Is that political also? Is it political that the oil theft that is dealing with our members and our industry is not being addressed and forcing oil multinationals to divest and our members lose their jobs? Is that also political? You know, and that is why ordinarily we would have said, let's do it next year. But we say if we do it next year, closer to election, people will say it's political. So, and that's why it's unfortunate we are doing it now. But we know that Nigerians will bear with us. It's a very difficult decision we've taken. And it is completely a decision that has nothing to do with politics. It is a pure workers' decision having to do with addressing workers' welfare. As I was speaking with you now, many people in many multinational companies have been asked to go. More multinational companies are asking more people to go because of the oil theft, because of the inability of the government to address insecurity, because of the harsh operating environment of the Nigerian oil and gas industry. And we think that if we fold our hands and keep quiet, it may get to the point when we will not have members anymore. And so that is why we are raising these issues for government to address them right now.
Okay, supposing these issues are not addressed immediately by government, what would be your alternative?
I will ask you that question. If we are going on strike and nobody is talking to us, what do you think we should do? Go back or continue with the strike? So that one, you know what we will do, we'll continue. But we want to believe, that one of the essence of strike is actually to communicate grievance. We want to believe that by the commencement of this strike, government would have actually seen that the workers are serious, and then there will be avenues for dialogue, there will be avenues for discussions, and that this dialogue should be genuine one. You know, whatever agreement that is reached, genuinely, should actually be honored, because we are really, the oil industry is in terrible situation. As we speak with you now, you know, people go to work not knowing what is their fate. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Comrades, I want to thank you for making us proud. I want to say that at the last National Executive Council meeting of the Trade Union Congress, which held on Saturday, the TUC asked the federal government to immediately address the oil workers' concerns and immediately ensure that this strike does not hold. As you are aware, there has not been any meeting to that effect since that Saturday, and so we are not surprised that PENGASSAN, which is my primary union, which I'm very proud of, has commenced this action. This action is clearly an action that is even belated, because we cannot continue to watch our industry die. We cannot continue to watch a situation where the PIB, the oil industry, will be reformed for 14 years, and yet there is no headway. We cannot continue to watch a situation where oil theft, pipeline vandalism, and the inability of the federal government to address security concerns is leading to divestment and the loss of jobs by our members. If we do so, our unborn children will ask us questions. So I am proud of you.
The reason why NUPENG and PENGASSAN embarked on this strike action are quite numerous, but the major ones are the issue of PIB bill, the issue of the bad road, the issue of casualization, especially in the free trade zone, the issue of people who were transferred and terminated, but senior officers that were transferred and terminated, and also the issue of insecurity. It's quite a mouthful. There's so many of them actually, but what happened is that we had our NEC meeting in Abuja on 30th and 31st of October this year. And that NEC meeting, a resolution was taken after x-raying what has happened so far in the oil and gas industry, especially the issue of non-passage of the PIB bill, now that we are experiencing glut in the sales of crude that have forced down the prices of crude. We feel that there was need for sanity to reign in the oil and gas industry. And one of the quickest instruments that would have brought about that sanity is the PIB. But we discovered that there had been so much hide and seek about the PIB bill, and that became a very major issue to us. So we gave a 14-day ultimatum for government to look into all of those issues that were raised. But unfortunately, the meeting that we had was not fruitful, and we had about 3 meetings. They were not fruitful. It was almost like a caricature of what a meeting should be. And that actually led us to the fact that there be need to call the bluff. But we didn't want a situation where you give ultimatum and it's not respected, and as a union, you stand like Kimber and watch. So that is what gave rise to the industrial action, which was actually avoidable.
This will have on the national economy?
I do not know the effects you are talking about, really, because those statistics were released by government probably to look good. Okay? Yes, the issue here is this. Reliance on petroleum products is not the fault of the union. The government have to rely on petroleum products and the people have to rely on petroleum products. It is probably because government have failed to do what is needful. Okay? So let us not at any point begin to blame the union or the people. Should we at this material time be talking about, I heard in the news this morning that the power had dropped to about 2,800 something megawatts. And when they promised that, in fact, from their estimate, we're looking at over 6,000 megawatts by this time. But it has dropped. So now people may naturally have to resort to petroleum products. It also means that the government has failed their responsibility. The national economy you are talking about, I do not know. I do not know. Because as we speak today, except government do not want to monitor, or they are failed to monitor, distribution of petroleum products. Okay? We're taking it easy. If you look at the pattern of this strike action, at the distributive arm level, I'm sure when you're coming in, some of them are still selling fuel. We plan in such a manner that it is not going to have that kind of crunching effect on the citizenry. But it is likely going to have more effect on the crude itself. Because that one is the one that impacts directly on the government. So that is the target. We try to manage it in such a manner that it will build up gradually. That's why I told you that governments have an opportunity to arrange the situation if they so wish. We didn't want to come down heavily and say, okay, distribution have to stop today. No. So we're graduating it gradually, giving them an opportunity to intervene and ensure that if they truly love Nigerians, the effect will not be noticeable. What you're saying now is panic buying, frankly. If you ask anybody, they will tell you that distribution is still going on gradually. So we are targeting, some strategic areas. But the area we actually want to make more impact is on the area of crude. But that is why government benefits so much. We've not seen any benefit as a matter of fact anyway. So for us, we look at the sales of crude and whatever it is to be to the betterment of those in power and not to the general public. But those ones that impacts on the people, which is petroleum products, we want to reassure them it will not be in such a manner that they will cry so much. Okay? As we speak today, there are still stations selling fuel. So if people do not panic, this Sherlock the marketers are not going to capitalize on that opportunity to read them off. So let them be patient. Let us also watch the body language of the government. I'm very sure the government actually wants to live up to their responsibility. It will not get to that point when people will cry so much.